Hello, five-star realtors, and welcome to another episode of the Deal Doctor live streaming. I wanted to talk today about backup offers. But before I do, I wanted to give a quick announcement about Ninja. Ninja is a program, 4-day training program coming up September 23rd through the 26th. Cost for that program is $795. You can enroll with $100 down, and then in October we can work on a payment plan of $350, and then November another $345 to make that happen. Within the next 10 minutes, if there is someone out there that calls the Deal Doctor line and says that you want to enroll, I'll pay you $100. So let's see if I can get the phone to ring here. At least get someone to enroll, right? Because we already have some people that have signed up. We just want to see how many more we can get. So you're on the time, you're on the clock here. Let's see who's that first caller is going to be. Enough about Ninja. Let's get right into backup offers. There are times when in this day and era with so many offers coming in, people will actually take the initial offer and then might be a little concerned about maybe some of the contingencies that are in that initial purchase agreement. And the seller might say, hey, I want this secondary purchase agreement. I want them to be actively involved in case our first deal falls through. So I want to take you through an example of a backup offer. I want us to understand that there might be some language associated that a seller's agent can put into that backup offer to help protect your client from any type of legal recourse. Again, I'm not an attorney, but these are words that and language that we will provide that may be helpful. So here's our example. So Realtor Graham is listing a property, and the listing price, we'll say it's $100,000. Buyer A comes through and offers $99,000 for the property, subject to contingencies, which include an inspection and among other things. The seller accepts that purchase agreement of $100,000 with contingencies. Within 24 hours, buyer B, who previously looked at the property and indicated that they wanted to make an offer, they also put an offer in as a backup. The seller reviews it, and the seller instructs the agent, I want you, Eric, to keep this secondary party interested no matter what you do. I want to keep them on the back burner. I want to keep them as a backup offer to keep them interested. So Realtor Graham says, okay, well, let's write something up. And buyer B now, this buyer who comes, writes an offer for $98,500. So we have buyer A with $99,000 that's accepted, and now we have buyer B in the mix with this backup offer. And the reason why the seller wants to have this backup offer is because they're concerned about the contingencies that maybe there's something in that will force buyer A to leave, and they don't want to be left there without selling their home. So they take advantage of it, and they get buyer B to be interested and write a backup. So Realtor Graham, in this case, prepares an offer, a counter offer to buyer B that indicates that the seller will accept buyer's B offer as a backup to buyer's A purchase agreement that's dated August 15th, 2019. So I want you to keep in mind now, we have buyer A that has just agreed to a purchase agreement with the August 15th date. And now we have buyer B, 24 hours, who came in and says, look, I want to be part of this as well. And it's been signed. So in the meantime, buyer A performs their inspections, they go through the property, and they discover some problems with the septic and well. So they end up negotiating, and they make an amendment to the purchase agreement with an addendum that states that they want a credit for $2,200 to fix the well and septic with the problem. So the sellers discuss this over, and they propose ultimately that yes, that's going to be acceptable to them. So the initial purchase agreement dated August 15th, the amendment that was just approved August 25th, so 10 days later. So with this now, they get through most of their other contingencies and they try to schedule a closing for the end of September. But unfortunately, come September 29th, they're not able to close because now all of a sudden you find out that that backup offer or that buyer B files a lawsuit and puts a lis pendens against the seller's property, claiming that they have a binding purchase agreement with the seller to purchase the property. Now, buyer's B position in court is that their offer was a backup to buyer A's purchase agreement, that buyer's A's purchase agreement was dated August 15th. When the seller and buyer A amended the August 15th purchase agreement with an addendum that was dated August 25th, buyer B, their position was that their backup offer became effective on the date that they modified that purchase agreement with that addendum. So you have seller A, August 15th purchase agreement with an addendum of August 25th. You have buyer A, August 15th with an addendum of August 25th. You have buyer B that also signed August 15, or let's say even August 16. And what their claim is that as soon as they changed the original purchase agreement and the terms of that with an addendum, that their contract was no longer valid. So buyer B was now claiming that you changed your original contract and now you have to honor ours. And that's where people get into problems, is that sometimes we don't have the language appropriately to address buyer B. One, how do we get rid of them when we need to, or how do we bring them on if we want to, or when it's needed. And what will end up ultimately happening is that all of a sudden now you have two parties who are claiming rights to purchase the property, and eventually you end up the seller ends up having to pay one of them off in order to move forward to sell their home. So we always need to be careful with these backup offers, and we just want to make sure that when you have backup offers is that we have uniform language that will help protect your seller, or in this case may help protect your buyer with this backup offer. So here's a clause to consider, and we can post this later, that buyer acknowledges that this agreement is a backup offer which shall be effective only in the event that the closing on the prior purchase agreement on the property does not take place for any reason. Buyer acknowledges that nothing in this agreement shall in any way restrict the right of the seller to modify the terms of the prior purchase agreement as seller shall in his or her sole discretion deem advisable. Meaning that you want to ensure that the seller has every right to continue to negotiate sales prices, contingencies, whatever it is, because buyer B, who's coming in, basically may write that back up as, hey, once you change their original offer, our offer now will take precedence over your ongoing negotiation, which is no longer an original offer. So there is language there that we want to be careful with. Obviously, as realtors, you can use any language that you see fit that works for your situation, and every single situation is different. But it's important that we have some type of language there to help.
Question?
Yes.
So it's from Julie Reisner. She says backup offers are considered acceptable only in certain associations, correct?
That would be correct. Yes. So, like in G-Car, for example, Julie, where you work out of, once a seller accepts an offer, we no longer have obligation to pursue other offers, and we move forward in good faith, working through that contract. There are other associations that do allow the backup offer, but again, I always advise agents, first of all, find out if it's something that your seller really is wanting to have backup offers, because you may find out you might be in a legal situation that you might not want to be in. If you need further clarification on those matters or associations, please leave a comment in there. We'll be happy to answer those. Thank you, Dan Jeffrey, who is here, giving me support, just giving me some great coffee. I appreciate that. I do have one fan today. It's Mr. Jeffrey, so thank you. Other suggested language for these types of backup offers could be that in the event that the sellers do not notify the buyers that this backup offer is in first position within, X number of days of the date hereof, the buyers may at any time thereafter declare this agreement null and void by providing written notice of the same effect. So what I'm just cautioning everyone, anytime you're getting into this backup offer, you may want to ensure that you have some type of clause in there to protect the seller, and maybe even a termination option to be able to move forward. Any other questions coming through on that? As I say, that is my backup offers. I know this is kind of a short overview. Again, I want to go back to Ninja and talk briefly about that real quick. I know with Ninja program, the overview of the Ninja program, we now have outline dating day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. If anyone's interested in knowing what you're going to be learning in that Ninja program, please reach out. We'll be happy to email that information to you. If there's any questions that anyone has on common clauses, Don, Kim, Liz, Paul, Greg, all of us have been working now on common clauses to help ensure that people who need those will have more of a robust language that's been adopted by the company and the policies. But that's all I have. This is going to be a short and easy backup offers. I appreciate you listening and tuning in to us here at 5 Star on the Deal Doctor live stream. Please leave your comments and any suggestions that you may have. And Don is recovering, and I hear that he'll be on work release pretty soon here. And he's going to kill me for that, but no, but he'll be out of the hospital today, we hear, and he's in good spirits, and we wish Don all the best with the fast recovery and back to work. So hurry up, Don. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time.